Rick exclusive channel with Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist. Thank you for joining me. We're in a very serious time in history. As a 57-year-old man, I'm watching a generation that's growing up on gadgets, social media, influences that are rescuing weak people, encouraging weakness, causing confusion, ambiguity, moving away from the old-fashioned values, as it were, into new value systems that clearly really don't work. The mental health epidemic that's happening at the moment is evidence of this. And it's concerning as an older man looking at younger men. Now, there is a single mother aspect to this, but I'm not going to go into that. But what I will say about single mothers is single mothers aren't single. Don't be fooled into thinking single mothers are single. That's not true. For the sexual part, they've got toys if they want them, and they will masturbate. For the emotional part, they'll surrogate their children. Single mothers aren't single. You have to, as a man, accept that. They do not need rescuing by you. Do not give them money. But if you are brave enough to have a relationship with one, then you be prepared to understand that you will not be in the rightful position you should be as a man, because she's got DNA children and they will ultimately come first, unless she's an extraordinary, unusual woman that knows boundaries and how to minister herself to everybody in a fair and even way, which is very uncommon, because most single mothers have made themselves partial to their children. They've surrogated the adult males, if you like to say, if it's a woman, and of which this treads on corns. There's malicious psychological assault, verbal assault against this kind of mentality, because we live in an age where accountability and responsibility, transparency towards these things could lead to a solution, and we can't have solutions. We just have to have what suits. That's the world that we live in now. That's the way that things are. Whether it's right or wrong, good or healthy, gonna prevent harm and bring good, it doesn't matter, as long as it suits the mindset at that time of that person who you're dealing with. If a bloke doesn't know he's a girl and a girl doesn't know she's a fucking, whether she's a bloke or not, don't you think that's a major identity crisis? If you don't want to identify with the fact that you're male because you want to be female at that time, and a lot of these people change their minds depending on the day and the time and the hour and how they feel, don't you think that's a serious identity crisis? Like, I mean, a serious identity crisis, not just a basic small error in human thinking. It's a major personal identity crisis. personal identity crisis, major, absolute. It's just one example. Let's look at substances, alcohol, weed, all this other stuff. While it suits that person to take it, while there's no harm being done while taking it, it's all good, isn't it? Everybody fights for it. Everybody has to have it. There's arguments, squabbles, people putting their life on the line for these dangerous substances. Dangerous. Harming substances. Oh, they'll lose relationships. They'll go to jail for it. They'll go to jail for these substances, to have their substances. Without any question, look at the jails, look at all the people in jails over alcohol, drugs, amphetamines, and all the other crap and shit that's destroying our children, our families, our parents, our societies, our countries, and ultimately, possibly, what could be the underlying fundamental reason, really, when you think about it, for the apocalypse. There's no accountability and responsibility anymore. And by the way, isn't she a beautiful girl in that picture? God bless her. People will run with their agenda, whether it's right or wrong, whether it causes harm or it doesn't, at that time. But if somebody loses a limb, or somebody's critically ill, or somebody's seriously maimed, we soon change our idealisms then. Some of these people that get sex operations and it goes wrong, wish they didn't. Some of these women that are enabling these young men that want to be young girls, and then later the person changes their mind and then blames the mother for the influence of it all. Some woman in America went to jail for grooming her son into becoming female. He sued her. Later, when he realised this has just been placed on me by the determination and influence of his mother, he took her to court and sued her for all the identity loss of. He didn't even know. He didn't know who he was. The enabling of parents for wrong. The enabling of parents for children to take drugs. And I don't care if it's fucking weed or what it is. People are hiding in their families. That's why we've got police and things, to rat these people out. Get them out of the communities, because they're damaging the communities. They're causing harm. And they'll fight for what they believe in. They'll take you down for what they believe in. They'll take you out. You better believe it. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I'm not sharing this from books. I've seen how vicious and malicious and determined young adult men who are fixated on their mothers can be. I mean, relentlessly, covertly malicious, psychologically troubled to the serial extent, but hidden away, covertly hidden away from any accountability and responsibility, and the mother props it up. She's an accessory to the fact. She's a main cause of the problem. And that's all there is to it. The mother is the primary cause of the problem. the single mother, because her needs aren't getting met and she has to find some way of figuring all this out. Please listen to how serious this is. You don't know who you're running into these days. You don't know what psychological condition they're in. You don't even know if they're a functioning addict. I've mixed with these functioning addicts, only to see behind closed doors how messed up, troubled and infantile and delayed these people are. How emotionally and psychologically reckless they are. How underdeveloped they are. And they think they know everything. And you look at these people and you go, words? It's just words. It's not lining up with your life. What you're saying is not lining up with how you're living. All your expertise is not matching your way of life. Or you can have all the expertise in the world, but if you're not carrying out what you say, what's the good of it? You're misleading people. And there's enough of that going on without anybody else contributing. When parents are misleading their children into thinking that the abuse of chemicals and alcohol and weed and all this is a solution to their troubles, can't you see that's no different to Count fucking Dracula biting somebody on the neck? It's no different to the troubled nurse in a hospital that's deliberately over-injecting and under-injecting and messing around with people's medications, killing people. There are people, you better believe it, there's nurses in the nursing hospital systems that are assisting in the premature death of patients. Well, we better not go there, eh? There's misdiagnosis left, right and centre. Listen to the stories. Who are the doctors accountable to? I'd like to know the fucking answer to that. Yeah. Yep. So you've got these parents that are psychologically misaligning their children to be dependent on weakness. And then they prop them up, pedestalize them, glorify them, run around after them like they're some kind of deity, and everybody's completely and utterly weak and deceived, both psychologically and physically. Completely and utterly deceived. And that's without question. You spend enough time with these people and you go, oh my goodness, this is bleak. This is not the way things should be. The delusion, out and out delusion of these people and the trouble that they cause. Irreprehensible trouble, usually trouble that can't be undone. And you know what? They run back into their hidey hole. They don't take accountability. They don't take responsibility. And they go on and on until somebody's maimed or somebody's hurt and somebody has an aha moment and comes out of it. This is Reverend Dr. Jason W. Morrison, theologist, on the Pro Ricky exclusive YouTube channel. Bye for now.